Howdy ho, good neighbors. What's going on? It's Phil Russert. It is Monday, the start of the week. I hope you have a great week ahead of you. I hope it goes quick and smooth. And I hope that whatever you do with your week, it's productive, successful, it makes you happy, and in good health, of course. Anyway, tonight is episode 3 of my rebranded show. It used to be Creator Con Q&A, is now Philbo Publishing Presents. Thanks to Andy for helping me with that. We have our third guest. But no, he doesn't come in third in my book. He's actually one of my favorite people in the industry. He's a good human being who I got to break bread at my own home, at my own table, and I appreciate that. And he got the thumbs up from my family, so that means he's safe. He's okay. Anyway, I'm glad to have him on. He's actually one of my favorite people to talk to, especially about comics. He hosts his own show. And is a co-host of another show that are awesome. We'll talk about, and I've been a guest on both, and it is a great time. And we're going to talk about that because those are shows you should be watching to and subscribing to, watching and subscribing to. Anyway, without further ado, we have George with a J, Medina.
What's up, Phil? How you doing, buddy?
What's going on? Good, man. George is one of those people that has a good heart and a good head on his shoulders. Great social skills. You really are very good at what you do when it comes to get your meds and
Thanks, man.
catch the craze as a co-host. So I wanted to say that first and foremost. I bust his chops all the time. So if I'm sending him a sincere compliment, trust me, it's sincere.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, Phil. I'm waiting. I'm just waiting. Oh, it's coming. Okay.
It'll happen during the show, but I figured, okay. I'll soften you up first.
Thanks. Thanks. You bastard.
I'm like, hey, look, and then wham with the bat right in the
Gotcha. What's that over there? Boom. Okay, I got it. I see
look, birds crack.
I see what you're doing. Okay. All right.
So, hey, Michael's here. What's going on? Medina the Dreamer. There you go.
What's up, Michael?
So I'm glad to have you on. You had me on not too long ago, and I thought, what? I don't do a lot of shows, but why have I never? I think once I had you and Sam on. Why haven't I had you back? So
yeah, that's right.
Thanks for being back.
No, thank you for having me back, bro. Yeah, it's been a while. It definitely has been a long time. It was different though, right? The Creator Con Q&A was a little different.
Yeah, we rebranded for the Philbo Publishing name. Why not? It's time for a change, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
But enough about me. It's about you today. I don't knock it, but most shows formats do 20 minutes to a half hour, and I understand why, because of short attention spans and things like that. Hey, Chris, or they'll have you on with 4 other creators, and they'll give you your 10 minutes. I don't like to do that because I'm not doing this for my ratings. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it because I want to get you exposure, So we do an hour of you.
Oh, cool.
So briefly, tell us who George Medina is and what, how long you've been in the indie comics industry, and then we'll get into your stuff.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I am a writer, creator of 2 properties right now, 2 IPs. Rust 5377 is one of them, and The Adventures of Wonder Duck is the other. I started writing comics and reading comics a long time ago. I didn't start reading comics till I was about maybe 12 or 13. But I was watching obviously cartoons and newspaper funnies since I was a kid, right? So that's kind of like where my love for it went. Shut up, JD.
You knew they were coming.
Yeah, I know. Here they come. They're all here now. They're all here. Yeah, so I started doing that a long time ago, but I've always wanted to write and create my own stuff. Like I never had aspirations of working for Marvel or DC. And as much as I was a Disney fan, I never wanted to write, draw, do anything with Disney, right? It was all about writing my own stuff. And so that's where these stories come from. The Adventures of Wonder Duck. I created that many, many years ago, back in the 90s. Russ, who turns 25 this year, I created him back in 1999.
You old
bastard. I'm an old bastard, bro.
JD, man, he's old. Look at
him. So that's what I'm. That's how I came to be in this industry, man. It's just for the love of reading comics and wanting to create my own stuff.
Very cool. Yeah, I had the chance to read Wonder Duck, and I do have to tell people, you look at it and you think some people might think, oh, it's a kid's story, blah, blah, blah. It's written for everyone to enjoy, like a Pixar movie would be. It's written for everybody to enjoy. It's not childish at all. It was well written, well constructed, well
Thanks, man.
illustrated. The art was excellent. So
Yeah, great.
I would just say that first. Second, Russ Five. I got to say that has an interesting story to it, which you're going to talk to us about. And you had some great news today that we're going to share.
Yeah.
Before we do, when did you start hating us Irish people?
Here's the shoot. It's dropping. It's dropping slowly. Okay. I got you. Well, how long have we known each other, Phil?
Yeah. On that, we have that. We have that. What did you say that time? You said, "I love and hate this man at the same time."
I love to hate this man.
Yes.
Thanks, Ted.
Hey, Ted Davies, what's going on? Wonder Duck rocks. It really does.
I just had Ted on my show. I just interviewed him today, actually. So his show will be airing in a couple of months.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, all right,
what's up there?
You do a lot of things. We're gonna get into the shows that you do in a few minutes, but give us the pitch on Wonder Duck, what it's about, why we want to get it, where we can get it, etc., and then we'll get into Russ and the great news.
Yes. So Wonder Duck, The Adventures of Wonder Duck started out because I loved the Disney afternoon, right? Back in the days, back in the late 80s, early 90s. I was a huge fan of DuckTales. And Gizmo Duck was the character that I loved to just, I was like, oh, who is this duck? So I was like, I got to create my own superhero duck. So I created Wonder Duck. And I took the wheel off of him, off of Gizmo Duck, and gave him this.
Right.
And that was what he was. As time went on, obviously, as we get older, we start thinking a little differently about our stories. How can we construct them, make them a little different, not make them so that we're copying other people.
You evolve.
Absolutely. So, and that's what happened to Wonder Duck. And Wonder Duck became the story of this out of work duck. His name is Duke Dolby, who has lost his job. He has nothing to live for, decides he's going to throw himself in water and drown, but he's a duck, so he won't drown, right? So he's sitting at this pier. Something comes out of space. It's a spacesuit, hits him in the head, transforms him into Wonder Duck, right? Where that suit came from, another planet that is at war. And what happens is the person who created the costume is a doctor who actually has wow, what's the word? Now I can't.
Good thing you're a writer.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing I write this stuff. Maybe you call what you called me before we came on, you silly bastard. Anyway. Anyway, so he's accused of treason, and so now he has to kind of save his name, and he links up with Wonder Duck to help him do that because he is the creator of the suit, and that's kind of like where the adventure kind of takes off. So yeah, it's a fun adventure. I know you said it's anybody can enjoy it. I do believe in having an age group for the stuff that you write, right? Because then that helps you kind of focus on how you want to write the story. Everybody can enjoy it, sure, right, because it is something that even as a parent can enjoy or whatever, because it's written that way. But it's really written for, say, younger kids, maybe I would say anywhere between 8 and 12. Right.
But I do think the parents can read along with the kids and not be bored.
I think that that's important, right? Especially when you're writing these stories, because when I'm at conventions and I'm trying to sell this book, the parent wants to feel like they're investing in something that their kid is not just going to get bored of, and they're not going to get bored of.
Don't usually work anymore. So
yeah, that doesn't work at shows anymore. Ever since the pandemic.
I'll take you back, motherfucker.
So that's kind of where the story goes and why I wrote it. That's kind of the whole thing there.
I like that you do a very simple thing, but it was huge. Stan Lee believed in it as far as marketing and notoriety, and they did it in DC. It was Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, Clark Kent, Peter Parker, Dr. Doom.
Yeah. Yes.
And believe it or not, those are all, it's catchy, right? Because it just rolls off the tongue and it becomes memorable in your head. And that's why they do it. And,
yeah.
So I thought that was cool when I first read that. I thought that was very cool. And it was a throwback.
Yeah.
So it's a little nod. Was that
Definitely.
intentional?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Donald Duck, right? Mickey Mouse, like they all do it. You're right. They all do it. And it's because of that. The alliteration kind of like helps people remember names, I guess. How easy is it to remember Peter Parker? You know what I mean? Like that's so easy. So yeah, no, it's definitely done on purpose.
Cool. And then you go to another IP that you had initiated years and years ago, because you're what, 60 now?
Yeah.
But actually, I'm older than you and I look older than you. But anyway, um, um, and this is a different tone altogether. So tell us about Rust.
So Russ was created way back in 1999. It was a doodle on one of my pages at school. I was bored in one of my college classes, and I doodled this character, and I left it. I left it alone. I was like, all right, cool. That's whatever. So I was working at an orphanage at the time, and I was doing data entry work. I tell the story all the time. I was doing data entry work, and a name came across my desk, right? Because I used to put all the information in for the kids and whatever. And a kid's name came up, Nonami. Nonami. I was like, that's kind of cool name, whatever. And turns out the kid's name was no name. It wasn't Nonami. He had no name.
Right.
They didn't know who this kid was. He had been found somewhere, and they were bringing him into the system.
I
And I
deal
was like,
that with patients too.
you
Yeah.
do,
No
right?
name. Yeah.
Right, right.
But it looks like Nonami. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. I was like, oh wow, that's a crazy name. So what I did was I was like, oh well, okay. So this character that I created, that's him. This is who this person is going to be, right? He's going to be a kid who's going to be in this system, in this home, and I'm going to build a story around that. So that's what I did. So I created Russ, a 17-year-old, and the story takes place sometime in the future. And the reason why I don't give you a year, 5377 isn't the year. It's his ID number. The reason why I don't give you a year is because I'm a huge fan of Back to the Future, right? 2015 came and went, and we still don't have flying cars, right? So I'm like, I'm not going to give it a year. It's just going to be sometime in the future. So what happens is this kid is in this orphanage sometime in the future. Now, what's happening in this orphanage is that the people who are, running the place are scientists. They're trying to create the perfect specimen. So they're taking these kids who have no homes, no backgrounds, no
Hey,
anything.
only once did it happen.
So they're taking these kids and they're implanting these chips in their brain to make them forget everything. Oh, to make them forget everything that's happened in their lives before they were 5 years old. They've erased. But Russ is starting to have nightmares about his life, things that he shouldn't remember, his mom, things like that. And when the doctors find out that this chip is malfunctioning, they decide to take him in for testing. And when Russ finds out that he's basically a guinea pig, he decides, hey, we got to get the hell out of here. And that's kind of like where the story takes off.
Now, with Russ, is this a self-contained like mini series? Is it 4 or 5 issues, or is it ongoing? What are you doing with it?
So it's 6 issues. This part of the story that I'm telling you is a 6-issue miniseries, and that's what's compiled in the graphic novel. Is those 6 issues. Now, the way I wrote it, and even when I created it back then, my whole mindset was, I'm not going to be able to afford to do an ongoing series, right? You and I both know how expensive it is to
I
put these
know.
books together, right? So I was like, I'm not going to be able to do that. So what I did was, let me do the first 6 issues, and then I can always go ahead and maybe leave it open so that I can write more stories about Russ. And that's what I did. So I wrote these 6 issues about him trying to escape the home. You don't know whether or not he makes it or who makes it out with him, but I leave it open for future stories.
Okay. And what about Wonder Duck?
Wonder Duck is it is because it's the adventures of Wonder Duck. The adventures can go on forever. So, but I have written it in like in 4-issue arcs or 8. Well, this was an 8-issue. What's up, Carlos? 8 issues for the first arc. So I split that up into 2 books. So 4 issues and 4 issues. But the stories can continue to be told. So at the end of these first 8 issues, you'll get one full story.
So, but do you write contained stories in those
Yes.
8, or do you start opening plot threads for the next story?
I do. I start opening plot threads. Yeah. So there is, there is.
See, I love stuff
Yeah.
like that. Hey, Carlos, what's going on?
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to let everybody know. I don't know if JD's still here. JD, you're welcome to drop links, whether it's to the show, whether it's to your books, campaigns. Same with anybody else, Michael, anybody. I don't have a problem. You drop your links to anything you want to promote as long as it's age appropriate and it's comic related. Or the media pop culture related. You're welcome to drop your links. We want to be a community here. Um, I like when writers do that. That's why I like ongoing series, right? Because you get to invest in the characters, or at least like you're doing, that you will continue in other volumes with the adventures. Um, but it's nice when you write and you start to plant the seeds of future plot threads, because life isn't so linear that it's, oh, me, this adversary, we take care of it, right? Other things arise, subplots happen, other people are introduced. I always find that interesting, and I love when people do that. Even if you're writing volume one is this story arc, and then volume two is this starting at number one again. It's nice when you plant those threads, though, those seeds and then you look back and go, oh, you know what? I didn't realize that was his first appearance of whoever. I love stuff like that. John Katzis, the guy with the hat, looks familiar. Hey, John,
What's up, John?
heart and prayers go with you, my friend.
Yes.
I hope things are getting at least less, a little easier for you. I know that's I know it doesn't happen, but I just hope things are getting better. So that's great. Do you have other IPs that you're looking to do in the future as well? Or you just want to focus on these two right now?
No, yeah, man. I'm constantly creating stuff and writing stuff. I don't think as writers, and we don't stop creating things. Do you want to focus on one thing at a time? Absolutely, because like I said, it's very expensive to create these things. But yeah, no, I am. I'm actually working on another IP. It's called The Shameless Plug. Sometimes to fit in, you have to be yourself. And so I'm working on that. And the only reason I'm mentioning that one is because, the copyrights are out already and everything is good. I don't like to mention anything until I have the copyrights done, what I mean? Just to protect myself. But yeah, so I have that. I'm working on two others. But right now the focus obviously is getting Wonder Duck finished, the first 8 issues that I have, because I do want to finish that second part, which I'm working on getting that done now. And I'm promoting obviously Russ. And I do have more stories for Russ that I started to write. And I'm hoping to get those out in the next couple of years.
Cool. Now, you said obviously Russ is you said 20 years or 25 years?
25. Yeah.
So about as old as the underwear I'm wearing. So
wow.
Yeah, I know. It's comfortable. But anyway, yeah, I don't have to pull them down. I got holes in them, so it's good. Anyway, easy access.
Easy access. Dirty bastard.
Dirty.
Oh God.
So first of all, you got great news. You posted today about Russ. Tell us about that, which will lead into my next question.
Yeah, so I linked up with a publisher in the UK. He actually is publishing worldwide now. ASAP Imagination. Hades is the gentleman who runs it. And, I signed up with them for the release of the 25th anniversary edition of Russ 5377. And he actually let me know today that not only can you pre-order the book here in the States, obviously through the website and all that other stuff, but he's managed to get the book into 3 major bookstores in the UK.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So that's great. So those stores are the equivalent of, obviously the Barnes and Nobles that we know here. Right. But he's been great, man. He's been great. He's been great in helping me do that. And so I'm excited. I can't wait. So the book is going to come out in the spring. But you can pre-order it if you're in the UK, if you're watching this out there, you can pre-order it from those stores. So if Foyles is one of your stores, or Hatchers, I think, is the other one, and Waterstone, if those are stores that you're like, oh, I can order that from there. Yeah, you can order them from there now.
Now, with the publisher from the UK, can you order from their website, the publisher website?
Yes, you can. Okay,
drop those links in there, because when I do, it doesn't attach it to all the channels that StreamYard is going to for some reason. That's awesome. And what about releasing in American stores? Do they handle that too, or you'd have to get an American publisher?
No, he's working on getting it into Barnes and Nobles now.
That's great.
Yeah. So he's working on that now, and so it's a big step. I mean, listen. You're a publisher. You know how tough this game is. You know how crazy it gets, and as a creator, the last thing we want to do is kind of have to do all of that stuff. So it's nice to find, a publisher or somebody who can open up those doors for you so that we can just sit here, create and produce the books. So, and then that's what he's been able to do. So yeah, it's been great.
Man, I mean this sincerely. I'm happy for you. I'm glad. I mean, I like to see everybody succeed, but especially the good people, that deserve it.
Yeah.
Real quick, I don't know if Carlos was talking about your illegitimate kids or my two daughters, but
those shoes are dropping fast.
I'm telling you, Maury Povich is about to knock on your door. The DNA tests. It is.
What are you thinking, Jerry Springer?
Yeah, that's very kind of you, and we would be happy to do that, and even we could do a video review for you once they read it. We'd be happy, and we would help in any way we can. And that goes for you too. If you ever wanted us to do some sort of video review of Wonder Duck for kids or anything, we'd be happy to do something to help. If anything, even if it just gets you one extra backer or whatever.
Yeah, no.
Hey, Chris, happy birthday to your dad.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
And Chris is a very talented artist and does models too, statues. So very cool.
Cool.
So thanks for stopping by, Chris. So with that said, with the UK publisher, what about LCS in the States and overseas?
Dennis.
What's up, Dennis?
Owes me 100 chicken wings. Dude, big shout out to Dennis, man. I whenever I post anything, he shares it, dude. And
he does that for me too, man.
He does it, dude. And we've been talking about getting some beers and wings, and we have yet to do it. So I owe him a bunch of wings.
Oh yeah, Dennis, don't hold your breath, George.
You know what?
I can't believe George made it to my house that one time.
I can't. No, this
one time he made it to my house. And that was it.
This has to stop.
And then he was like, "Look, I gotta go. I don't like you people."
I almost left Jonathan there with you.
I think you called me a cracker.
Did I?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God! Where did this go? We're veering off here.
Dude,
I'm starving.
You spent an entire evening at my kitchen table, and you're surprised?
Yes. No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I don't know what this. I'm faking this astonishment over here.
Yeah, if you ever need a really quality artist who's very professional, reliable, good guy, Kenny Calderon.
Kenny's awesome, dude. His artwork is off the hook, bro.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
He does a lot of stuff for me, and it's just easy to work with. Yeah, Dennis is starving, but meanwhile, he's got the same thing going with me for all the shares he does for me. He's I think he's like Norm from Cheers. He's building a tab.
Yeah, nah, man. Nigga Michael, we're lucky Medina's up. It's after 9. Yes, you are. You are lucky.
Yeah, I know. Well, you and I'll chat about whatever book you're lettering for me or whatever, which you're going to get into it over Facebook briefly while we're both doing our jobs and finding 5 minutes. So I always find that interesting. Carlos says, I got Wonder Duck.
Oh, man. Awesome. Thanks, Carlos. I hope you liked it. He didn't say you liked it yet. I'm like, thanks, Carlos.
I got Wonder Duck.
He's like, I got it.
The only problem is when I used it to wipe my rear end, my ass was wet, and now I have Wonder Duck imprinted on my ass cheek.
We don't know how that was going to fit.
How it turned out, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you asked me about distributors here in the States.
Yeah, and going to LCS and things like that.
Yeah, so I have. So Wonder Duck is being published through Darkfire Press. JM DeSantis, JM. And he's really cool. And he's managed to link up with a distributor who distributes books out in the West Coast, more specifically in Oregon. Oregon. Comics Mainstream. And they've managed to put a lot of the books, Wonder Duck, in a lot of the stores out there. Not just comic book stores. He's managed to put it into he's gotten it into libraries and spinner racks throughout the area. So so we're working on getting them there. The LCS is as a whole, you know how it is with distribution with Diamond and all that other stuff. It's a little tougher. So we're still working on getting them into the LCSs. I am in talks with one of my local comic book shop here in Yonkers to do a signing there. when the book
Yonkers.
is released. Yeah, in Yonkers.
So the UK publisher, though, they can they get you in LCS in the UK?
Yes, yes, yeah. He does. What he does is it's guerrilla. It's old school out there. He'll get on a train and take a trip down to some parts in London and just walk into LCS and say, "Hey, I have these books. Do you want some on your shelves?" And he's managed to get a lot. He's managed to get a lot of his books in a lot of these stores. So yeah.
Dennis said, "Keep me posted about the signing. I'll try to come out."
Oh, thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, let me know too.
Definitely will.
I'll come out just to heckle you.
Oh, great. Can't wait. Can't wait. You get an invitation.
I almost got distributed through Comics Mainstream. I had a long talk with the owner of a mom, got sick, and we never followed up. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, man. Sorry about that, Carlos. Yeah, no, he's done a lot of work with getting Wonder Duck out there. So I thank him a lot.
There's a lot of people that say there's no gatekeeping in the industry, but I think they're misinformed. There's a lot of gatekeeping in the industry, and there's a lot of hurdles to jump because of it. Some of the gatekeeping I understand. Publishers are taking a risk and investing, so I understand where a publisher would be very strict about what they pull and take on. But when it comes to distribution, there's low risk for them really. They spend the money to have someone send the books out to everyone, and that's about it. I mean, they're printing previews anyway. I mean, I don't know. I think that there's got to be a better distribution system to get us out there because Kickstarter is being used as distribution. It's not meant to be.
I mean, I remember, dude. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, and I remember when we first started. Diamond. If you weren't in Diamond, and it's very similar now. If you weren't in Diamond, stores didn't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like Diamond was that, almost like that mark of approval. Like, oh, if you're in Diamond, then your stuff is good. No, I know, and it sucks that it hasn't changed, right? Like, I don't know.
I agree. But at some point, things are going to change organically, naturally, just through the cycle of things, and we just got to keep being there. Like someone said to me, "How do you know when it's the right time to be there?" I said, "Simple. Always be there."
Yeah.
If you're always out there and you're always pushing, you're always doing your thing, when that time arrives, you'll already be there. It'll meet you. You won't meet it. But besides these books that you're doing and you're writing and everything, you're a letterer, right?
Yes.
So you lettered a few things for me. You're gonna letter Arcane Syndicate. Did you letter your own books?
Yes. Yeah. So that you got to save money somehow. So I actually learned how to letter because I needed to letter my own books. And I remember when I first lettered, because I drew. Hey, what up, Anibal? I drew and I wrote and I drew the original Rust 5377, like the original run. And I only got the 3 issues because the way I was doing it back then was without scripts. Like I didn't know about scripts. I was just like folding 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper and then just drawing as I went along, right? So by issue 3, I had hit a wall. I didn't know where the story was going. But I lettered those first 3 issues. And I got to give a big shout out to Wilson Ramos. Wilson Ramos has done a lot of work with, he worked at Marvel for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a letterer and he's a colorist for a lot of books, professionally today. And he gave me some really good tips back then when I first was lettering my books about the errors I was making. And he did it in a way where he wasn't a jerk about it.
Right. But he was straight honest with what you need to work.
Straight up, this is what you need. Don't do this. This looks bad, blah, blah. And I took that and it made me better, a better, letterer because of it. You know what I mean? But I feel like, he went about it the right way. He wasn't just like, look, man, I'm a letterer. I don't need you learning how to do this because I need work. So I'm not going to tell you anything. He was very open about, dude, this is what you need to do. Like, don't use that. He wasn't
looking to knock you down. He was looking to lift you up.
Absolutely. So big shout out to him. And I don't know if he remembers that, but yeah, no, for sure, man. So that really helped me out. And from there, I continued to letter my books. I continued to letter. I lettered Sam's book, the Disneyland in My Toilet. I'm doing your books. And I've done a few other indies that I've worked with. Mark Torres, it came from the radio. I lettered his book. and I'm working with other independents now to letter their books and do work for
Yeah,
them.
you're on a few of mine.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited about some of the stuff that you have going on. The syndicate that you just sent me. I
Yeah,
can't
I'm
wait
not.
to
I'm
see
not
that.
trying to get into my stuff. I was just trying to point out the fact that, I try to make a professional looking book, so I try to hire those that can make it look professional. And
Yeah.
you lettering my books is because you are
Thanks, man.
making it look professional. So, and everybody's got to remember there is a science to lettering. It's not just copying, pasting. First of all, second of all, a letterer is that guy that or woman that if they do it right, you don't notice.
Yeah.
It's when they do it wrong, it ruins an entire book.
Yeah. But it's funny because I was reading obviously when you're doing this thing, and we're always learning, right? We're always constantly learning. And I was reading something about how it should be invisible, right? If you're doing it right, you don't even notice it. But if you're doing it exceptionally well, it kind of it complements the book in a way where like it almost looks like without it couldn't exist without it. Like
Well,
the
a
lettering
perfect
could not
example is
exist
sound
without it.
effects, right? Like
Yeah.
when you use sound effects
Yes.
perfectly to meld
Yes.
with the art,
Yes.
it blends in and becomes an accentuated
It
part of the
becomes
art
the
without
artwork.
taking away from the art. It's
Correct.
adding to it.
Correct.
I
Correct. Yeah.
agree.
So it doesn't. I mean, the balloon should probably be more invisible than like what you're talking about, the action, the special effect,
Right.
right? Because they should kind of blend into the art to make it even stand out even more. So
I made the mistake years ago. It's talking with Howard Mackey and calling them bubbles. Don't do that.
the bubbles,
Don't do
nice.
that. They're word balloons. And if you say otherwise, especially to pros like Howard Mackey or old school people, they will bite your head off. By the way,
Bubbles.
thank you,
That's
Dennis.
hilarious. That's
Um,
hilarious.
so I mean, how long have you been lettering and studying under lettering and doing it?
Yeah. Well, I would say about I don't know, 15, maybe 15 years since I've been producing my books. Yeah,
Ooh, old
because
bastard.
I'm old, dog. I'm old. But yeah, no, it's been a while, dude. Like, and honestly, I didn't really take it seriously until much later. Like, I figured it's just word balloons, man. I just gotta put them in there and make them look nice. But now, the more I do it, the more I realize, man, there's a reason why they need to go this way. You know what I mean? Good letters are rare. Good job. Thanks,
That's the
Carlos.
truth. Well,
Yeah,
there's fonts. There's using
yeah,
fonts to depict tone because
right.
there's no audio. There's sound effects,
Absolutely.
as we spoke about. There's balloon placement
Yeah,
and the flow of the conversation. And God knows you deal with writers who put too much in a panel, or maybe the artist didn't allow enough room
yeah,
in the panel.
yeah.
So you run into a lot of stuff. And you're the last line of defense. You're the
Right.
last guy to get everything.
Hmm.
So, you know, it's not, I mean, granted, if you have an editor, they go back and check, but like the penciler has the inker to say, hey, I can help fix this, right? The
Right.
colorist can help any deficiencies that they see that the inker maybe did. There's no one coming to help you. There's an editor going, this is wrong, fix
Yeah.
this,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you think about it.
Yeah. No. One of the things, and as a letterer, now when I write, as plays such a vital role, they make so many decisions. Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah. Yeah.
true.
They so like even when I'm writing my scripts, right? And now I look and I think, okay, who's gonna speak first? Because the person who's gonna speak first has to
Be on the
be
left.
on the right side. Yeah, on the right, yeah, the left side of the page, the right side of the page, the left side of the page. Unless you're doing manga or something like that, right? Which changes, right?
Right.
So, but here, obviously, comic books they have to be on the left. So I constantly have to remember that. And when I get a script from somebody who put them on the other side, but the other person's talking, I'm like, ooh, okay, because one of the rules is you can't cross the tails. You shouldn't be crossing tails, right? So like, there are certain rules that you have to abide by when you're lettering that you can't really, and so you get all these like confusing sometimes word balloons to try to connect, and you got to be very creative when you're doing that kind of stuff because you become a designer. You're a
Right.
graphic designer, which is what you
It's
really are.
true.
You're a graphic designer. You're graphically designing these pages so that they look correct
I mean, and
when you're reading them.
you have to focus on not just like the flow of the conversation left to right, and knowing that S kind of going on. But sometimes it's hard because you're trying not to cover up art,
Oh, that's the biggest thing, dude.
important art, special art. It's a visual medium. It's about the art. You're not going to cover a face. You're not going to cover a hand gesture. You're not going to cover pertinent, parts of the body.
Right.
If anything, you're going to try to stay off the body. So, it can be a lot of work. I'll be the first to tell you, when I first started writing, I didn't think about the left right paradigm, and I put Jason through hell. And I put a lot of dialogue in some panels, and Ricardo didn't allow for the dialogue. Uh, I'm amazed that Jason still works with me after the first issue and doesn't want a second issue even, and wants to kill me. By third issue, I finally got my act together. But man, oh man, I put him through the ringer. And like Carlos said, and like Annabelle said, letters, man, they're so important, and it's hard to find truly good letterers, and at affordable prices. And you're both.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And look, I don't want to make this about me, but I do want to say this one thing. Of all the people that are working on Papa, you were the one that came to me to be kind and help.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, I number one, well, okay, so I'll tell you this. I love the concept, right? Number one. I think I read the script, very good script. And then the reason behind you doing the book. You know what I'm saying? Like
it means a lot to me, though, that
dude.
you offered that, and I've been fighting with you about giving you something, compensating you, doing something, and you're being as stubborn as an Irishman would be.
No. You're good. You're good. You're good.
No, I'm gonna do something. But the point is,
what are you doing?
The point is, there are some people that make gestures and offers, and they're really only at the face value. And if you push a little, they go, okay, fine, blah blah blah. You meant your offer. You've been sticking to it, and that's a huge sign of character, because you're only as good as your word, and your genuine compassion, and your kindness and your integrity. And as much as I bust your balls, that means a lot to me. It means a lot to me, and I hold you in very high regard, even before that, but even more so now. And my family appreciates you. That was a very kind gesture. And I just wanted you to know that. I didn't want to make this about my books, but I wanted people to understand that when they hire you for letters, or if they work with you, they're not just working with a talented creator who's competent. They're working with a damn good human being. So I wanted to make that clear, and then I can get back to fucking with you and busting.
Great, thanks. This is what you do. You're an abusive. I'm in an abusive relationship right now.
I know. I'm beating you, and then I come back with flowers and I say I'm so sorry.
I'm all messed up. Right now. This is crazy. George is a man of his word. The only kind.
I agree with you 1,000%.
That's
I agree with you. Listen, I don't just let anybody break bread at my house with my family there. I got my kids.
Yeah, no. And look, and if I can't do it, I'm going to tell you I can't do it and why I can't do it.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be like, yeah. And then just.
Well, I asked you about that one book, and you were like, I can't. I'm not up to it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
The manga.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I'm like, dude, honestly, because the thing with that is like, that's a very specific, group of people that are buying that book. They know when something's not authentic.
They are. Oh,
right? And they're like, oh, what the hell is this? So I'm like, I am not ready for that yet. You know what I mean? Let me figure this out. And then I may want to do that. I just, you know what it is? I still don't know how to read it, dude. Like, I don't even know how to read it. How am I gonna
Well, that's the thing is, the word, it's not just reading right to left.
Right.
The word balloons go right to left
right.
as well. Yeah, so it's totally mirror.
I'm like, holy cow, man, that's crazy.
Well, it's funny because when Jason did it, he's used to doing Western books, and he did a beautiful job. And I think one panel he forgot, and he had it backward. That I caught just one.
Oh, thank God!
And Kenny Calderon is actually the manga artist.
Killed it, dude. He killed that artwork.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, and he's easy to work with, and he's hopefully he's a Philbo lifer, but hopefully you are too, man. But obviously on the side, you got your own stuff going on. But you also are a podcast and live streamer. You you co-host with Sam on
Yeah.
Catch the Craze, which is where I met you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You guys play off each other well. You are an excellent interviewer.
Thank you, man.
Um, and then, of course, now you've got Get Your Meds. So tell us about how you got on with Catch the Craze and about that show, and then tell us about Get Your Meds.
Yeah, no, so Sam, I mean, I met Sam way back in 2003, I believe.
God damn, he's tall, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, he's so I met him. I met him in 2003. I was taking an art class at the School of Visual Arts in New York City, and that's where we met. And he had Crazy Comics at the time. I joined him. I became part of Crazy Comics. I had Russ 5377 published it to them. I was joining it at the time. And then in like 06, 05, 06, the big podcast, the thing was podcasting. It started to come up. It started to happen. And so he was like, yo, dude, I think I want to do this podcast thing. And it was like a means to an end. I mean, for me, I thought, if we want to put our stuff out, what's the best way to do it than a podcast, right? Talk about other indies and do our own indie stuff. So it became a thing that would serve both. So we started Catch the Craze. And it started out with like, VHS cameras and stuff like that, mics. We didn't have this. There was actually, this didn't really come about until the pandemic.
Last 5 years, yeah, 4 years, yeah.
This came from the pandemic. Doing this way. Remember, because what did people were trying? Like they were trying Skype. None of that stuff was working. And then these companies came out and started doing Zoom came out and this came out. But no, we were doing it way back then. And so when he stepped away from comics, I think it was in 2009, I want to say maybe, we stopped the show. But then he came back and we got back together. We're like, yo, we should start the podcast again, dude. So we did. And we've been back since. And now I think, had we stuck through it since from 05, we'd be like, Joe Rogan style. You know what I mean? Like it would be the followers and all this other stuff would be huge, I think. But we stopped.
So you're blaming Sam and you're upset with him because you feel that he ruined your momentum and screwed everything
he killed
up.
Killed everything. I hope he's watching this. I hope he's watching. No, but you know what? I do have to say, and believe it or not, you're probably not gonna believe this, Phil. I was a bit of a knucklehead way back then.
No.
And, oh yeah. No, man. I was not this, focused person you see today. I was just doing my thing. I had just broken up with a girl and I was just, going crazy. So I wasn't focused on what I needed to do. And stuff happens. So, the band broke up for a little bit and now we're back together. But yeah, no, we're good, man. We've been doing the show now consistently since 2019. And we interview Aníbal knew me back then. What did it call it? I was asked to do manga, but I got to be true to self. I don't read it.
All right, listen. I know you do your own show, but this is my show. I'll take care of the chat.
Oh, thanks.
You just freaking be the guest.
You're ignoring the people.
I'm not ignoring him.
Okay,
I was going to get to it when you were shutting up and done talking.
Well, listen,
but you were going on and on and on and on and on, and the show's about you.
You asked me a question. I'm answering your question. He's matured a lot.
Right.
See,
Carlos. I have to get to you now. I wasn't, because the guest said so. He also wanted green M&Ms taken out of his bowl in the back, but
I did, and there was one red, you bastard.
Yeah.
So I won't pretend to do it.
See, I loved anime in the 80s and 90s. I liked 8-Man and obviously Akira and Vampire Hunter D and all that stuff, and Fist of North Star, Ninja Scroll. I loved all that stuff. So I started dabbling into manga, but then I stopped, and then I was like, you know what? Let me get into that again, but this time let me do one. So we gave it a shot. But anyway,
it came up. All right. So anyway, long story short, we interview independent artists and we try to just shine some light on what they're doing. The first half of the show is the do's and don'ts of the things that we've done in the industry that maybe didn't work, or some of the things that did work, which is the Get Your Med segment of the show. And then the second half is for the creator and whoever's on the show to talk about whatever it is that they're doing. We are trying to stay away from Kickstarters. And the reason why we're doing that is because we've noticed that the show's going great. We're talking about the do's and don'ts, blah, blah, blah. The minute the person comes on, if they know that it's a Kickstarter, people just kind of they go away, because
That's why you started giving me excuses for being on. I
Shut
understand.
up. Because the thing is, I think people started feeling like, oh man, they're gonna ask me for money. It's time for me to go.
Right.
So, but we want to make it about the creator, right? We want the story of the creator, how they came up with the story, how they came up with with all that stuff. So we're trying to focus more on that and less on the Kickstarters. If you have a Kickstarter, that's great, and that's where people can get the book. But we're not gonna flash it up on the screen.
But they don't give a crap about your Kickstarter, basically. So you're on your own. Screw yourself. Gotcha.
Yeah, you know how it is, Phil. You know how it is. But yeah, no, that's why we've gone that way. And then I decided to venture on my own and start up my own YouTube channel called Get Your Meds. So subscribe today, guys, if you haven't done so yet. And what I'm doing there is I plan to have different kinds of shows on there. I do want to go live and talk to people about their books, and you're more than welcome to come, Phil, as many times as you want once. And so
you can stay in the back room. You can stay in the back.
And so no, but the one that I have on now is the Art of Comic Writing, and it's specifically for writers. I had you on the show. We had a great time, and it's just basically about
views.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you have the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
How the hell did that happen?
Damn right I did.
That's right. Almost 200.
Because I got a lot of haters and they were all probably watching.
Oh my God. They hate watching you? They hate watching
my haters watch and follow my posts more than my friends.
Oh, snap.
Hey Charles, what's going on?
What up, Charles? So we talk about the art of comic writing. We talk about writing. I feel like artists have an advantage when it comes to the visual medium, right? Because they could post up some beautiful artwork that they did,
right?
And you're like, wow, well, look at that! Like, look at the backdrop that we have here behind us, right? But writers don't get that. Writers don't get.
I love what you're doing. I agree.
Yeah, so that's what the show's about. It's about just writing. I ask you a few questions about writing, your philosophies on writing, and we go from there. So I've had a couple of the people that have been on that have been on the chat. Well, Dennis. Aniba was on the show. So it's been a good time, man. It's been a good time.
I'm the real drama king. Well, I wouldn't say I'm the drama king. I'm the king.
You're the drama magnet.
Yeah. There you go, drama magnet. Man, people just love to hate on me. Oh yeah, people love to hate on me, but that's okay. Even you hate on me privately. He's cursed me out so many times. I'll show you.
Who, Kenny?
No, you.
Oh, me.
Kenny's always nice to me. I'm not the one he doesn't curse me out to me. He's probably cursing me out to somebody. This I hate working for this guy. I hate when I got to do covers for him. I hate when I'm doing interiors. He's pain in my ass, fat Irish bastard. You know?
Wow.
Anyway, I'm kidding.
So you still play basketball? When are you gonna play basketball, bro?
I mean, I'll play, but you're probably gonna have to give me the next week off.
You got to put a hoop up in the backyard.
Dude, I used to be good, man. Yo, I'm not kidding. I used to be good. People used to look at me and be like, "Oh, whatever," you know. And I used to
okay. So when did you notice your skills kind of like diminished? Because I'll be honest with you, like I played a lot of basketball back in the days, and like it's the stamina for me, bro. Like I just can't. I can't run.
I was 42 playing ball with 19-year-olds and still cracking some asses, and they were shocked. And then I had slipped 3 discs in my back, and that was it. I was done. Now the discs are not a problem, but I've had 2 surgeries in my right knee. But I'd love to play. I mean, just for fun, you know.
Me too. But
I try to get out there. I used to play in Left Rack in Queens. I used to play in Brooklyn. I used to play in Williamsburg. I used to go. I played in tough neighborhoods with guys that were rim rock.
Those are the best games, bro. Those are the best games,
dude. I mean, how do you get better if you don't play the guys that can play?
But see, this is the thing, and sports to me is big, is huge for kids, for everybody, because it teaches you a lot about competition. Number one, losing, winning. You know what I mean? Teamwork, all that stuff. It's in there. Dude. Communication, like all that stuff is in sports, bro.
To coach it too.
If you and I are on a team and we're not on the same page, we're gonna lose, bro. So we got to get on that.
Just communication on defense,
right?
Knowing your assignment,
knowing where you got to be, exactly. So like all that stuff you can incorporate in anything you do in your regular life. You know what I mean? So that's why I love playing, dude, and I still love playing. I
haven't played since 42. That's 9 years ago, but I'll play.
Phil, yeah, we should, man. We should shoot around.
I remember, man, this 19-year-old kid, he's about 6'5", right? He's trying to be a guard and he's playing guard in school. But because he's taller than most people, I'm 6'1". He was bodying me on the block, and I'm on the baseline, and I get the ball, and he's like taking me. Oh, look at old man, old white guy. I do a spin. I do a spin behind him baseline, and I reverse layup the ball, and he goes, "Oh shit!" And everybody's like, "Oh!" And I just said, I put the ball on the floor in front of his feet, and I said, "You better start playing." And that was it. And he guarded me, and he tried, and I still was scoring on him. He was like, "How the hell do you play like this at like 50?" I'm like, "I'm only 42. Give me a break."
Well, the thing is,
I used
now
to
you
dive
have
on the concrete for the ball at 42.
But see, now you're playing with experience. He's a 19-year-old kid, but you're a 42-year-old man, and you have experience on your side. You may not have the athletic ability that you had at 19,
and
now you know how to, like.
And he asked me, how did I defend him well? I go, because I watched you and how you play, and you keep going to the same side. You keep, you bring the ball too low, which is a big guy's biggest mistake.
You see it, yeah.
You're taking away your height advantage on me because you keep bringing the ball down.
Right.
Keep it up.
Yes.
And things like that. So I told him at the game, he was like, dude, and then the kid showed me respect, and he was like, and I appreciated that. Some guys, when they get embarrassed by that, they try to overcompensate by becoming pricks. But no, he wasn't a kid. He was 19, but to me, he was a kid.
Yeah, of course, he was 19. He was a kid.
But I mean, I was wearing socks older than him during that game. You know what I'm saying?
You're in your old underwear, bro. You gotta do something about that, Phil. You can't just be wearing old underwear.
Besides, it helps me remember how to put them on. Yellow in the front, brown in the back.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, snap.
Yeah, I don't even know how I'd play at this point, but I'd probably airball after airball. I couldn't dunk on a 10-foot rim, but we used to have these 9.5ers, and I used to dunk on them, do crazy stuff on that, and it was fun. But anyway, those days are gone, brother.
Those are the days, bro. Those are the days.
Now it's like my exercise is picking up the Tylenol bottle, opening it up. I wake up with a pain. I go, I slept all night. What the fuck? How am I hurting?
It happens, bro. That's what happens when you get old.
Growing old ain't for the weak. That's what my father said.
No, it's not.
But anyway, we are digressing. Where did you come up with the name Get Your Meds? And
my
MEDZ.
Yeah, my last name is Medina. So I worked hard on coming up with something. But Get Your Meds goes to only thing he's dunking is donuts. Yeah, so Get Your Meds comes from my name, so Medina. So Get Your Meds. So Get Your Meds basically means get my stuff. I want you to get addicted to my comics, the stuff that I'm producing, the things that I'm doing. So that's where Get Your Meds came from. So
he's even putting up donuts.
I know. so that's where the
as long as you don't do any American Pie with those donuts.
Oh, American Pie. Brought it back, bro. You know what's funny? Okay, so recently I went to play basketball here in the city. This guy that I knew at one of the shops that I work at today. Hey, I let's go play ball at this, this place, indoor place in the city. The guy from American Pie lives across the street from the place we're playing. And he showed up. Yeah, he showed up. And we played a little game with him. He's actually a cool dude, bro. Well,
Which one is it? Who is it?
The kid from American Pie who actually did that to the
lead that did the
pie.
Pie.
Yeah, him. It was freaking awesome.
Dude, all I know is I would have said, I'll be right back after the game. I would have ran to the local store, came back with a pie and said, Jesus. Oh, Kenny, man. We used to do a live stream when I was repping Kenny and this other person. We do a live stream on Fridays, and I would say something just way off, out of nowhere. And I just throw them out of nowhere, yes, right? They come blindly.
Yes, you do.
And he would just go, Jesus. So it's kind of like anytime I say something way out of line or whatever, you just hear Kenny somewhere going, Jesus.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, like I just throw crap out, and my family laughs. My daughter, when she was a year old, she didn't understand what I was saying, but she knew it was sarcasm. She'd roll her eyes and go, "Daddy, year old." Anyway,
Oh man.
so yeah, I like that Get Your Meds. I like the show a lot. I think the
Thanks,
premise
man.
is great. I also like your what you do at the end of the show. You want to tell everybody what your little end of the show segment is? What you do?
Yeah, I'll tell you what my little ends of the show are. Fucking
I
mess.
wasn't talking about your body part. I was talking about
Yeah,
the show.
thanks. I hope not. I hope. No, so at the end of every show, what I like to do is I like to end it with I give you a writing prompt. So I'll come up with a writing prompt before we come on, and you don't know what it is throughout the show. We'll be talking, and at the end of the show, I'll give you a writing prompt. And what it's supposed to do is kind of like it's almost like what artists do with when they're doing warm up sketches. You know, they're just
Hmm.
warming up. This is like a 15-minute just prompt that you can sit down and do on your own wherever you are about a specific whatever it is that I tell you, and then you'll just write it down, and hopefully that'll get your creative juices flowing. So yeah, it's been done well. Some people have actually sent me stuff, but you know they're a little shy, they don't want to show it. But yeah, no, I've had a good
Yeah, I didn't send it to you because I've been so busy and writing, but I did give you the verbal thing
yeah
right there. As
yeah.
soon as we got
Remember?
off the air, I told you. I thought it was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it is, man. I had another buddy of mine, Kevin Davis. Big shout out to him. He actually wants to do a comic based on the prompt, like
Oh,
that he
cool.
got. Yeah, so that's cool. That's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing
That's
what
good
he's
you
doing.
inspired somebody like that.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing about writers, and I'm going to ask you. Sometimes when you're writing your own thing, you get inspired by something in there that sparks this whole new idea of another story. I mean, does that
Yeah.
happen to you?
Yeah, totally, man. Like whether it's a character that you want to do a spin-off story on, or something that happens within the story that you're like, ooh, maybe I can use that for something else. Yeah, it happens all the time, for sure.
Dude, an artist did a fan art of one of my main flagship character, and the way he had drawn her sparked a whole storyline for her book that's going to happen someday,
Wow.
which actually crosses over into another book that I'm doing.
Mm.
So it's amazing where you get inspiration from, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I was talking about that with somebody today. It's like when you're a creative person, I think we see the world differently, right? Everything we see can possibly be a story, or we can turn it into a story if we really wanted to. And I think that whether you're an artist or a writer or whatever, when you look at the world that way, inspiration is everywhere. Anything can inspire you. So yeah, it's kind of a good place to be in as a creative person, because you could just anything could do it.
Are there any people specifically that have inspired you in any way?
Like you be like artist or just
Just in general, it doesn't even have to be a creator. Just as anybody, are there any influences or inspirations in your life?
yeah, I mean I think my mom, it's gonna sound cliche, but my mom's a big influence, man, on the stuff that I've done. I
Mama's
mean,
boy.
I think what'd you say? You mama's boy, you son of a bitch. Um, no, so like yeah, you know why, and the reason why I say it is because she's always been very supportive, right? Like it's always been a thing of like it's never been a thing of like, you can't do that. What are you doing? That's
Right.
ridiculous. Don't do that. It's always been like, do it, like just go for it. And I think that not only does it inspire you, but it almost makes you feel invincible. Like I can do it. I can do it. It doesn't matter. I can do it.
Nice.
So yeah, so she's yeah, huge, man, huge. But yeah, man, and I think that obviously, you go to the artists and stuff like that, obviously Carl Barker and stuff like that, that huge with Duckman, right? They used to call him Duckman. And yeah, no, there's been a lot of every time you look at you look at some of the Turtles, for example, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, and the story behind the Turtles and what they did with that book, it just inspires you to say, you know what, it can happen, dude. Like it can totally happen. You just gotta put it out there and put it in front of the right people, and eventually it'll happen. So yeah, those things inspire me, man.
And what's your favorite '80s cartoon?
My favorite 80s cartoon, yeah, it would probably have to be DuckTales, I
Wasn't that
think.
'90s?
No, it was
No,
like
you're right.
88. It was like 88,
Yeah,
87,
you're right.
88. It
Okay,
was like
okay.
towards the end. It crossed over into the 90s, so it was late 80s. But I mean, if we're talking about like the cartoons of the 80s, I think G.I. Joe, I always think G.I. Joe, Thundercats, Voltron. you know, those cartoons, man. Those were the cartoons that I loved watching. GI Joe, you know what I mean? He-Man.
Is there a genre that you haven't delved into that you would like to?
Writing wise, I think I haven't done because I just finished writing a like well, I want to say maybe like a thriller with Ace of Imagination. I did a Dead of Night, so I'm doing their stories. So that took care of that sci-fi. I think like a legit superhero story. I mean, Wonder Duck is a superhero, but that's more like for like kids. But I'm talking about like along the lines of like Superman and Spider-Man. Like I haven't done that yet. And you know, I'd like to, you know, dive into that, see how that would come out.
Cool. All right. Before we get going, I'm going to give you a few minutes to tell us again why we want to get Wonder Duck, why we want to get Russ and enjoy its 25th anniversary, and then just tell us what you've got coming up.
All right, so Wonder Duck. If you're a fan of like we were just talking about the Disney Afternoon or you know Ducktales and all those other stories, Wonder Duck is that story for you. And if you have kids ages, I would say 8 to 12, and you want to get them reading some of this stuff just to get them into comics and things like that, I think Wonder Duck is a great gateway comic into that. You know, I deal with it's action adventure. It's nothing crazy, nothing serious. You know, Wonder Duck is a superhero trying to defend the world, and so I think that kids would really it would resonate with kids. I think. As far as Russ, 25th anniversary of the creation of the character, and for the first time, I have a brand new cover on the book for the 25th anniversary edition, and it's the story of, like I told you before, a young kid about 17 years old lives in a group home sometime in the future. I don't tell you when, and the people running the group home are really scientists trying to create the perfect specimen in a lab where they're using these kids as guinea pigs. When Russ finds this out, he decides it's time to get the heck out of there. And that's kind of like where the story takes off. So the book will be out this spring. I'm hoping to do some like in-store signings locally. Hopefully we'll start there and see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted on that. And go to getyourmeds.com. I have all my information on there if you want to follow me on social media. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the channel that I have going on called Get Your Meds on YouTube. And yeah, man, that's me in a nutshell, buddy.
Awesome. Guys, seriously, you should be subscribing to Get Your Meds on YouTube, especially if you appreciate the writer's process or just stories. I mean, don't get me wrong, comics are a visual medium, and art, I think, gets you to read, and the reader keeps you to read, right? The writer keeps you to read. But when we look back at comics, more often than not, we talk about our favorite storyline, our favorite run. We talk about the Dark Phoenix saga, or John Byrne's Fantastic Four, you know, or the Brood. For me, the first Brood saga in X-Men was for me. So writing, I don't think it's enough respect in this genre and in this specific medium.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you do with that show is wonderful, and you're highlighting
Thanks,
also just up and coming writers that probably write stellar stories, but you don't know about them. So great job on your part. People should be subscribing to Get Your Meds. Also, Catch the Craze is a great show. Him and Sam are a great dynamic duo. I won't say who's Batman. Anyway, he is taller though, so we'll have to go. But and I just, George is one of the good ones in the industry. So support what he does. Wonder Duck is excellent.
Thank you.
And I'm telling you, if you want to get your kids, if your kids are fighting you on reading and you just can't get them into it, I did not like reading books as a kid. So comics got me into reading, and I learned a lot of words from comics that I didn't know what they meant, which led me then to be more inclined to read prose books. So if that's your situation, you may want to pick up Wonder Duck and sit with your children and also just spend time with them. It's a good way to share and spend time with them, get them to read, and support an indie creator like George with a J. So check those out. And guys, Russ 5377 25th anniversary. that's a big achievement, a relaunch. Let's help him launch it strong. Go. We're gonna have the website and everything. Drop the links in the chat. Go to the website. Pre-order now. Help him go strong. Talk to your local comic shop. Tell them you want him to do a signing there and you want them to carry the book. That is huge. Yeah, share out.
Thank you.
Comment. Help the algorithms on Facebook because they are definitely controlling the narrative more so than ever. And George has 50 illegitimate kids to feed, so he needs your love.
50. Nice. 50.
All right. Great. Well, that's where we stopped counting.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
George, you're welcome on any time. You promote whatever you want or whatever. I'm really looking forward to those pages I haven't gotten yet.
You'll get them. You'll get them.
Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. There's no deadline. He's taking his time because I told him to. But I like working with you. I look forward to working with you. I look forward to Russ. I look forward to the continuing adventures of Wonder Duck.
Yes,
and
sir.
Watching your show every week. I've got you on alert. That's the other thing, guys. Get the alert that the show is going to go live so you don't forget, because you may want to watch the show and you get busy and you forget. So click the bell.
Big time. Yeah, man. Now, thank you so much, Phil, for having me on here, brother. And, I like to shoot the shit with you and I like to, bust balls and stuff like that. So we got to get together. We are going to get together. All right. Shut up. You're on Long Island. I'm in Yonkers. All right. It's kind of far.
Nobody told you to live there.
We're going to meet somewhere in the middle. All right.
I said.
But we're going to do it. Now, we're definitely going to do that, dude. It was a good time last time.
Me and Dennis won't hold our breath. Okay.
I got to go. All right.
Such a freak. Gave you a whole hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah, man. Jesus. Like a superstar over here. Thank you so much. Seriously, Phil, for real, man. Thank you so much. And hope the kids are good. The mom, your dad. Listen, we got to get this Papa book out, bro. We got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, before it's too late.
Yeah, we got to do it.
Absolutely. But guys, seriously, let's help him strong with this relaunch 25th anniversary of Russ 5377, and talk to your local comic shops. Tell them you want this stuff. Look, no one's saying you can't enjoy the mainstream. A lot of people aren't anymore, but if you do, that's great because we need you to keep comics going. But why not add to your library? Why not add another book that you look forward to its release coming out? Because you never know what you're going to find in indie, but what you do know you'll find is a passion play, not something that is going to satiate the shareholders.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Yes. Anyway, we'll never look at donuts again the same way, but that's all Kenny's fault. And now he's trying to get you to see cheesecake in a horrible way as well. But that is what it is. I blame you, Kenny. They killed Kenny. And anyway, that's about it. Do you want to help me for once? Usually I'll let the guests go. Why don't you help me? Because I know you don't remember the end of my show.
I never do.
Never watch it. You never get to it. I know you don't even watch it.
I get to. I just can't do it the way you do it.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever.
I can't, bro.
So you want to start or you want to finish? I got two things I say at the end of every show.
Okay, you start. I'll finish.
You sure?
Yes.
All right. Try to do a better job.
All
right. Be legendary.
And have a fun storming the castle. Yeah.
You're Latino. It'll happen.
Son of a bitch. Get out of here. Goodbye.